So with the drone of my neighbor's lawnmower in the background, I'm going to talk about replacing AC compressors in vehicles. This is going to be the 5th compressor I've replaced on my personal vehicles in my lifetime. So 2 were with the old R12, and this is the 3rd one that I'm replacing with the new 134A refrigerant. And my first one that I replaced, what I did is I went to the junkyard and I purchased a compressor, and they had like paper towels stuck in here. So I took them out, took the old compressor off, put the new compressor on, hooked up the hoses, threw a couple of cans, maybe 3 or 4 cans of R12 in there. The R12, there's a lot more R12 than there is R134A in these new ones, and off I went. That's right, I didn't pull a vacuum, none of that stuff. Just old one off, new one on, or junkyard one on, hooked it back up, worked fine till I sold it. So anyway, that was my first experience, and then as I started gaining knowledge and experience, you know, I started to become more sophisticated. I've also went to a local community college and received my universal card where I can purchase refrigerants. You can get an automotive or industrial. I have a universal. That means it covers everything. And I also took heating, ventilating, and air conditioning courses before that exam. So now I know, you know, the laws and more about how to do things. But the point is, you know, replacing a compressor, it's just a mechanical job. You know, you disconnect the lines, you unbolt it, you bolt it back in, hook the belt back up. You know, that's pretty much it. And then you pull a vacuum, add refrigerant, and you're kind of done. So to diagnose that it's actually the compressor, think of it as 3 parts. I know you're going to see a lot of videos on YouTube about gauges, how to diagnose it, and all this other stuff. I really only have found 1 minor leak, no major leaks, and all the rest of them was compressor failures, because the compressor is really the only mechanical part. There's plumbing on the other side. Yeah, you have an expansion valve, you know, but there's plumbing and electrical. So for your electrical, it's the clutch. Your clutch is working or it's not working. If you see it moving but the compressor's still not working, you're going to replace the compressor anyway. I've seen people replace the clutch. I've even tried it a couple of times. It's not worth it. Get a compressor, no matter how much these things cost. By the time you put the clutch on there, it'll be well worth just having replaced the entire compressor. So that's the electrical. I did find a relay that was bad one time. I've never seen a blown fuse, but you have a fuse and a relay. So you can check your relay. What you can do is you can swap it out. Like I swapped out the horn relay with the compressor relay, and it worked. And the horn didn't work, so I knew it was a bad relay. So I was thrilled to fix my air conditioning for 10 bucks. So that's really all you got on your electrical. Clutch, electrical. On the other side is plumbing. You either have a leak or you don't. Yeah, there's a dryer, there's an expansion valve, there's a condenser, there's an evaporator. But the bottom line is, you either have a leak or you don't. That's on the plumbing side. Alright, let's talk about leaks. Leaks are extremely easy to find on modern vehicles. Especially European vehicles. I'm 100% sure on Volvo, I'm like 99% sure on Mercedes, BMW. They already have the dye in them. You do not need to buy those cans of dye and put it in your car and see if you have a leak. All you need to do is take your UV flashlight. You see green, you're leaking. Very easy. Just get you a flashlight, UV flashlight, you know, you can get them pretty cheap. They're like 10 bucks or whatever. and just flash it around the engine compartment all along the hoses. Look for your green monster. You like my camera zooming? Crappy, huh? So I'm just telling you my experience and what I do and what I've learned. And what I do and what I've learned is that 99% of the time you're going to have to replace the compressor unless it's a relay or a fuse on the electrical for your clutch. If you do realize that the clutch is bad, I do not recommend replacing the clutch. Replace the whole compressor. And so that's your electrical, clutch, electrical. Your plumbing on the other side, UV light, you either have a leak or you don't. If you're adding a can of refrigerant once every 2 or 3 years, maybe 8 or 9 years, you're okay. That's kind of normal. I don't flush my system out. I've never had a problem. So anyway, there's my 2 cents on automotive air conditioning repair.